Hi, I'm Arthur. This is part 16 in a 20-part series about all the original legions of Space Marines. Do you need to have seen the other parts to understand this one? No, but it would make me happy. You ever just see someone that with all your might you can't steer clear of the idea that it's probably going to end poorly for them? Like, you look at your friend who was an overachiever in high school, you grew up with them, and they ended up dropping out of university and like backing out of a med degree. They became a really chill dude, but you remember that one time on summer break where he lit a cat on fire and just decided to watch it burn to death? Yeah, that's what it's like to examine the Sons of Horus in terms of lore. Formerly known as the Luna Wolves, they are one of the biggest fuck-ups in the setting, if not the biggest fuck-up. They fucked up so bad that, deadass, the setting is just a downward spiral because of them. To give you an idea of how bad their fuck-up was, the Primarch, Horus, cool dude, has an entire book series dedicated to him, spanning well over 30 plus fucking books. And as you could probably guess from the title, the series is not exactly about how kind and nice the man was and how generous he was to his family. God damn, the Sons of Horus are just the seedbed for every major problem in the Imperium in modern day. Shit kinda sucks. You can trace most of the problems with Chaos back to the Sons of Horus. Well, sort of. I mean, you can trace it back to Erebus, whom corrupted Horus, which corrupted the Sons of Horus. By the way, fuck Erebus. But as per the usual, I'm getting ahead of myself. How best to describe why the Sons of Horus were just a bad idea in the making is a difficult concept, so let's break it down. Well, for one, the recruits came from a pharaoh world known as Chthoniya that had a rich culture of brutal gang violence and warfare, which, if you couldn't guess, is probably where a lot of their problems started. And as we all know, gang members are very trusting and easily able to break from the codes and traditions that have been set up by their higher-ups. They had a very stylish sea green and gold aesthetic, but their elites wore black armor, known as the Justaran, and alongside them coming from gang cultures, they had the entire weight of the galaxy and every other Primarch pushed upon their shoulders, like fucking Horus himself. They were known for a specialized form of combat that other legions were so interested in that they actually went to learn this method, and it's simply called the spear tip method. The easiest way to describe the spear tip is they send a small group of their strongest, most durable, and most violent troops in the front line to drive a wedge into the enemy defenses, then have the weaker members of the troop, the more rank and file, come in afterwards to mop up and drive the point home, like the tip of a spear, widening as it pierces through the enemy. Shit's pretty clever. They have some of the most interesting characters you could imagine in the 40k setting, well, in the Horus Heresy setting. Lovable but a dickhead, to not lovable, not likable, a dickhead, and also the main villain in like 10,000 years. Fucking, it's unavoidable. He's around, he's a main character. Abaddon just fucking sucks. I find the Sons of Horus are just in such a weird position lore-wise. As legions go, they didn't technically exist for that long of a time. It's complicated. Let me break this down for you. Essentially, due to a victory at an orc-infested planet named Ulanor, the Emperor gave the right to Horus to rename his legion from the original name, which was the Luna Wolves. Horus at the time, being not a total sociopath, decided he didn't really want to. He liked the Luna Wolves as a title, and he really didn't want to hog the glory of his legion. Eventually, he was convinced by his brothers to change the name, you know, adding his own branding as it was, to make the Sons of Horus. So that is when the Sons of Horus were created, and not too long afterwards, they ended up going traitor and being almost completely dissolved in the Eye of Terror, their remnants being brought together with a bunch of other traitor legions to create the Black Legion. So, in theory, they didn't last that long. That in mind, all of what I just said are the basics of what you need to know to understand the Sons of Horus as they were. You don't need to know much. You just need to know that they did the fucky wucky and whoops everyone's mad now. The important question that I want to kind of get to is, why? Why did they do everything that they did, and why does everybody hate them? Well, one, they ended with the death of like several Primarchs, you know, civil war, and the Emperor being sent to the Golden Throne was probably the reason why people are mad at them. But the most important question is, why did they do it? And it's a question that is both complicated and simple to answer. It's simple because, Erebus stabbed Horus with a magic poop knife and forced him to speak to the Hat Man from his DMT dreams for a bit too long. Thus, he ended up just bugging the fuck out, but the dissection of Horus's morality and character is more of an interesting idea than just he had a bad trip after getting stabbed with a shit machete. So much weight being put on the shoulders of one man. Sure, it was a Primarch, but to have the nagging of all of his brothers on his mind must have been insane to deal with. Hell, he probably had an entire fucking filing cabinet for every complaint the Night Haunter sent him. So, what was this weight that was placed on Horus? Essentially, the Emperor decided it was time for him to go back to Holy Terror and finish his Webway project, as well as a bunch of other science projects that were probably unnamed. He needed someone to represent the entirety of the Great Crusade in his stead, basically being the person to go to at the top of the heap in case you had problems or needed some degree of arbitration. Out of everybody possible, there were the 20 Primarchs, which got whittled down to 18 due to reasons we don't know. He chose what was considered at the time the front runner for the best son he had, which was Horus Lupercal. So Horus became the War Master of the Great Crusade, meaning every single one of his brothers, which were sought as equal to him, ended up having to go to him for permission to do specific things during their campaign. It bred a lot of indignancy between the different factions and the different legions, whom thought they could do a better job. Horus, trying to be the diplomat as always, ended up feeling like no matter what he did, he would fail. Due to numerous miscommunications and various different factors that led into it, there was this sudden decline that led to Horus snapping. And to go a little bit more in depth about that, he ended up finding a civilization that had a very peaceful relationship with an alien species called the Kinnebrak. This civilization was called the Interrex. The Interrex are almost able to compete with the Imperium in terms of technological advancement, but they're just not there. They were a highly enlightened species, and Horus wanted to make peace with them. But due to a miscommunication and Erebus doing Erebus things, the Interrex fired upon the Sons of Horus. The Sons of Horus murdered the entire population. It kind of sucks. After that, Horus, wanting to collect a dub after the biggest L of all time, he went to go reclaim a station of someone whom turned traitor, found it was a demon-possessed captain that he put there, got stabbed with the fucking shit knife, got a super disease. Now he's kind of here. The poop knife in question is a mystical, magical super death knife made by the Kinnebrak that basically can kill anything it touches. Even though he was a Primarch, they tried to fix him and save him, but for some reason it was not working. In his dreams, he encountered Erebus, who appeared as a magical apparition. One thing led to another. Magnus was there. Cool. Good job working and trying to save the universe, Magnus. How'd that turn out? Yeah, I thought so. One thing led to another, and he was shown a dark and desolate future, where the Emperor of Mankind was worshipped as a god, and every person's standard of living was terrible. Man, so fucking terrible that happened. Needless to say, he felt lied to and was fucking furious, not really understanding the fact that he is probably the reason why this fucking happened. Decided to wage a war, gather all the Primarchs that agreed with his idea that the Emperor should probably not be the one to lead mankind into its glorious golden future, and, to be fair, he was lied to a bit. The Dark Gods undersold how much they actually had invested in this, so they just wanted to seem impartial, like they were just background players who were worried about the well-being of the universe, which tricked Horus. One thing led to another, and
let the seas boil. Let the stars fall. Though it takes the last drop of my blood, I will see the galaxy freed once more.
cut to the end of this massive bloody conflict after killing his favorite brother, Sanguinius, and wounding the Emperor. The Emperor killed the shit out of Horus. I mentioned this many weeks ago, but there is a scale as to how dead a Primarch can be in 40k. Horus is like the top tier 10 out of 10 level dead. Like, so dead, they even killed the clone of him dead. So dead that I bet if you tried to think about him too much, you'd probably get a fucking headache. He's the level of permadead that there is no chance of him ever coming back. All people in the universe want to murder fuck him, so the second he shows up, even Chaos would want him dead. Sanguinius has a better chance of coming back than this cadaverific asshole over here. And to top that off, even the remnants of the Sons of Horus want him dead. Which, they still exist, sort of. It's a common misnomer to think that the modern-day Sons of Horus exist. They do and they do not. The individual members do, but the Sons of Horus as a faction does not. As I mentioned earlier, members of the Legion are around, but they do not identify with the Sons of Horus. That Legion was destroyed. So taking the remnants of other legions that need a purpose, they banded together, and from its ashes was a new legion formed. One deciding to go upon an unholy crusade to kill all those who they perceive as wronging them, which is namely the Imperium. The Black Legion, headed by one of Horus's original captains, Ezekiel Abaddon. But I'm not going to talk about the Black Legion just yet, because they are their own fucking beast altogether. So, do you want to play a Legion that has no rep in Warhammer 40k, but in the Horus Heresy is universally known? Do you like extreme violence in short amounts of time? Do you like summoning fucking demons? Then maybe play the Sons of Horus. It might be cool to see the warband of them show up in the modern day painted with the same sea green. It's weird, I've never seen that. I feel like I should at some point. It might have happened, I mean it probably did. I'm just curious. Regardless, thank you all for watching. Remember to like, subscribe, and tell me down below what you think about the Sons of Horus. I think they are exactly what they should be. Nothing more, nothing less. They are the villains, the things to be hated, with some tragic heroes sprinkled in for funsies. I want to give a special thanks to my channel members. With your support, I am able to not subsist exclusively on the moisture coming off of the pipes, and if you want to become a member and gain access to all my videos the second they are uploaded rather than wait for the scheduled dates, feel free to become a channel member. And until next time, I just want to say, Garviel Loken is the biggest Chad in the Warhammer collective universe, bar none. Fuck you, you're wrong. He could beat your favorite character in a fight. Fuck you, I'm out. Oh, and also, fuck Arabic.